The Sharks scored 3 power play goals, which is good, but gave up 2 power play goals in the last 3 minutes of a period and allowed a shorthanded, which is bad.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD, Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, probably part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch this on YouTube as well, or do both. Both is great. And today we're going to be discussing the Sharks' 6-4 loss to the Anaheim Ducks. They have now lost 5 straight for the third time this season. Both the other times, of course, reached double digits. So we're, as Bon Jovi once said, we're halfway there. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the numbers behind this game, and we're going to be talking about maybe if it might be worth the Sharks' interest to bring back old friend Barclay Goodrow from the New York Rangers. So before we get into all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's $150 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right. Yeah, this game was special teams galore type of game. The Ducks going 2 for 5 on the power play. The Sharks going 3 for 6, but the big difference is the Sharks giving up a shorthanded goal in this game, which, at that, giving up shorthanded goal and then going on back-to-back power plays or penalty kills at the end of the second period as the Ducks scored 2 goals there to kind of put them ahead there. But this was a very rough, skittish, there was no defense. Defense was not very optional in this game between both teams, and I was kind of curious to see how the Sharks would play, especially after their 7-2 loss on Tuesday to the Devils. There was just no structure in this game. And before we get into the power play stuff, the one thing though that it's becoming a worrisome trend, especially now that we know Mackenzie Blackwood is on IR and he's going to be out for at least a week. Magnus Cronin has been called up and is expected to play one of these games weekends. I would assume he probably plays on Sunday against the Minnesota Wild. Wild are fighting for a playoff spot. Dallas is one of the best teams in the NHL right now. I assume that's what's going to happen. But Kaapo Kahkonen in the past couple games has struggled, and you can see a lot of teams, especially on the rush, when they are, if it's a 2-on-2, 2-on-1 situation, whatever, any like on the rush opportunity, they're shooting for that 5 hole. And Kaapo Kahkonen has given up a ton of 5. You saw it tonight. You saw it against the Devils, low on the ice, and he hasn't been getting his paddle down. I wonder if it's just mental fatigue with what he is dealing with this season. We're very late in the season here. He's having to kind of carry a huge load, has not gotten much support. I wonder if it's just kind of mental fatigue with that, but just something to watch here going forward as kind of Kaapo Kahkonen continues to kind of have to hold down the fort right now with Mackenzie Blackwood expected to be out for 7 to 15 days is kind of the timeline right now. So, but the power play, which we went back to the 5-forward chaos theory unit tonight with Hoffman, Duclair, and the Lunds. And it was chaotic as well. You saw the shorthanded goal, right? It was Hoffman playing the point and just giving up all the room and real estate in the world to Leeson, right? And that is right. If you're going to run 5 forwards out there, which cool, those are your 5 best players. You're trying to score goals, et cetera, et cetera. You need to put someone a little bit more defensively responsible out there. If it's Granlund, and that, yeah, Mike Hoffman scored a goal tonight. God bless him. Breaking his, he hadn't scored a goal in about a bajillion games. You got to put someone a little bit more defensively responsible out there who at least is going to put effort in. If it's Granlund, or if you just want to run, like if we want to run Thrawn out there, even if you want to put Mario Ferraro, whatever, like it's this point of the season. But though you did see, again, they did score 3 power play goals tonight. Hoffman getting 1, Duclair getting 1, and then Eklund getting 1. Eklund getting nice little kind of streak buster for him. Who he has been playing well. I know that the face-offs, they were kind of harping on that on the broadcast. And again, I told you he's going to spend. If they tell him you're going to come back and play center or go home and train, he's going to spend all summer just doing face-offs. Like I fully expect that out of him, where he's just going to be spending all summer working on face-offs and getting better and coming back to try to do those, and be sufficient at them. So, but again, it's those back-breaking ones that we saw, the penalty kill opportunities, and again, there was a bajillion calls, and most of them were pretty like deserving, but giving up 2 power play goals to a Ducks team that has been not very good on the power play this year. Them and the Sharks are kind of pretty close to bottom third in the NHL when it comes to the power play percentage. Even the special teams on both these are very comparable numbers. But giving up 2 back-breaking penalty kills at the end of the second period, right? We've seen this from the Sharks constantly, where it's always that worst time, that kind of terrible timing of just kind of back-to-back things. Of just, they scored a goal, right? Duclair gets a goal, and then boom, 2 back-to-back goals by the Ducks to give them a 2-1 lead. So, that is the story of how you lose games continually. That is 5. And it doesn't get much easier, right? The Sharks are going to go play Dallas on Saturday, and we'll have an episode Saturday night after the game. Then they play Minnesota on Sunday. I know Minnesota lost today, but they've been playing really, really well. Then you play Dallas, the Islanders, who are fighting for a playoff spot, Ottawa, who's been bad, and then you play Philly. Then you make an East Coast trip of between Philly, Pittsburgh, Columbus, and Chicago. So there are some winnable games there, but those are very tankable games as well. So the Sharks could be looking at another potential 10-plus game losing streak here, which would be their 3rd of the season somehow, if they can continue to play the way they're playing, especially if Kaapo Kahkonen can kind of continues his struggles. So Ty Emberson also left this game with an injury, lower body injury. He hurt it in the last minute of the first period. But it's the defense was kind of a bit of a mess there. So yeah, it is what it is. They just continue to struggle. So, but I think that we're some positives. We're going to look at the numbers here, see how the Granlund line continued to play well. How did Eklund Zadina play in this game? So we'll look at their numbers, kind of dig into the numbers of this game. We'll do that here in just 1 second. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Again, guys, Steph Curry doing Steph Curry things. Also, LeBron's about to hit 40,000 points. Whatever the over is in the first quarter of his next game, just take that, because he's probably going to do it in the first quarter. He's going to probably want to get this thing knocked out of the way. But yeah, just go bet on your favorite players doing cool things. And that way, if they do cool things, you can also win some money at the same time. So just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sports partner of the NBA. A. All right, let's dig into the numbers of this again. All the power plays in this game, so many power plays. And it's pretty interesting where the Sharks kind of controlled the game, especially with the shot attempts, early on. And then after that last Ducks power play, when even with the Sharks kind of down, they're down by one, trying to kind of try to tie this game up. The Ducks were kind of controlling the pace there, and that's not what you want to see when you are trying to tie the game up. But overall, very, very even game between these two very bad teams. 41:30 of time on ice at 5 minutes again. 41 minutes. That's basically almost a full period of special teams play in this game, and also including a little bit of the time at the end of the game with the net empty, but 45 to 43 shot attempts in favor of the Ducks, 51.14 to 48.86 Corsi percent. Ducks scoring chances 21 to 18 in favor of the Sharks. High danger chances 11 to 9 in favor of the Sharks. Actual shots on goal was 19 to 20 in favor of the Ducks. And then expected goals for 2.24 to 1.74 in favor of the Sharks. Sharks had one even strength goal, and the Ducks had two even strength goals in this game. And both teams really kind of took it to the paint and shot. It was very much defense was very, very optional in this game. So for the lines, of course, we had Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair. We had the Cunnin, Eklund, Zadina line. Barabanov, Sturm, LeBanc, and then Hoffman, Carpenter, and Bailey as well. So, and again, time on ice is going to be really weird, especially, again, you played basically a full period on special teams. So 10:58 time on ice for the Granlund line. 16 shot attempts for 18 allowed, 7 to 6 actual shots did have a goal. Expected goals for 1.38 to 0.52. And you saw this, the Granlund line was on fire tonight, right? And you can kind of tell early with Duclair if he's kind of got his motor going. And maybe, he knows he's going to be here for like one more week. Maybe he's trying to kind of really, trying to go out with a bang here before he gets traded. So 1.38 expected goals for to 0.52, 10 to 5 scoring chances, 6 to 3 high danger chances, with 5-4-8 zone starts. So a lot of defensive zone starts for that line. The Cunnin, Eklund, Zadina line played 9-18, 7 to 8 shot attempts, 3 to 4 actual shots on goal, 0.29 to 0.18 expected goals for, 6 to 2 scoring chances, 3 to 1 high danger chances, with 6-3-0 zone starts. So Quinn not putting Eklund out there on those defensive zone starts. Hoffman, Carpenter, Bailey, 436, 7 to 1 shot attempts, 4 to 1 actual shots, 0.29 to 0.04 expected goals, 3 to 1 high scoring chances, 1 high danger chance for them with 4-4-0 zone starts. And then we also saw the Barabanov, Sturm, LeBanc line. So that line kind of I think Sturm also got a lot of defensive zone starts to help kind of protect because he played shifts with Carpenter and Bailey, Eklund and Cunnin, and Zetterlund and Granlund. So he played a lot of defensive, and those were all defensive zone starts. So you see Nico Sturm is taking draws in the defensive zone and kind of helping to protect some of the other guys again, because Nico Sturm is by far right now the Sharks' best face-off guy. So you see Quinn kind of utilizing Sturm for those. But the Sturm Barabanov bank line was pretty quiet tonight. 3:15 time on ice, 1 to 6 shot attempts, 0 to 4 shots on goal, 0 expected goals for with 0.56 expected goals allowed. 0 to 4 high danger chances, 0 to 4 scoring chances. So yeah, and Barabanov was really, really quiet tonight. I like his time on ice was, let's see. do not remember seeing Barabanov on the ice very much. So Barabanov played 8:08 time on ice. That was the second lowest, with Kevin LeBanc the only one playing less tonight. Even so, Bailey got 8:53, for example. Carpenter got 10:12. So yeah, that line apparently was not doing it tonight for David Quinn. So looking at looking at Kaapo Kahkonen's night, again, not the greatest night tonight from Kaapo Kahkonen. I wonder if it's a little bit of the fatigue of just kind of what's going on this season. So just kind of just wondering. So Kahkonen tonight, 24 saves on 29 shots against. Expected goals against was 2.4, gave up 5 goals, 828 save percentage, 4 saves on 6 high danger shots, 4 saves on 6 mid danger shots, and 14 saves on 15 low danger shots tonight. So again, not we touched it on earlier, but not Kaapo Kahkonen's best night by far. So defensively, Ahochuk kind of led the way when it came to Corsi 4. Again, the numbers are going to be all scrambled tonight with 5 defensemen for a good chunk of this game. He had 7 when he was on the ice in 12-27 at 5v5, 17-9 shot attempts. Tymerson was second at 5-25 at 5v5, 5-3 shot attempts, 62.5. Ferraro 18-16 at 17-15. Burrows 17-42 and 16-16. Jan Ruda 17-23, and then in 15-13 5v5. Excuse me. Henry Thrun was at 13-23 shot attempts. So yeah, and especially if Emerson's out, we'll see. I know Vlasic's been kind of skating. I assume if Emerson's out, it'll either be Vlasic or Kalen Addison drawing back in. Again, Emerson's not expected to make this weekend's road trip. So I know Vlasic was skating, was in morning skate. So I assume it's going to be one of those guys kind of settling back in for San Jose. I think it'll be my guess, educated guess, is Kaapo Kahkonen probably starts on Sunday against the Stars. And then we see Magnus Krona making his second career start Stars for Saturday. Yeah. And then Magnus Krona Sunday against the Wild. That would be my guess. What happens there when it comes to net, especially with Blackwood on IR and expected to be out past the trade deadline. So I'm curious to see. I wonder if this kind of cools the Kaapo Kahkonen trade talk or what. So we'll see. Plenty of time for that. So we'll continue to kind of course, cover the trade deadline. We'll look at an interesting potential trade idea for the Sharks. If they want to maybe weaponize some of their cap space, and why I think it's not the worst idea in the world to bring back Game 7 hero Barclay Goodrow. So we'll talk about that here next. I know summer's right around the corner, and maybe you want to go catch a Giants game. You want to go to plenty of sporting events this summer. Go catch a concert. That's when you need to check out Game Time. They have killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seats, and their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. The thing I love about Game Time is you know what your view is going to look like. Nothing worse than getting to an event and realizing, I have terrible seats. Actually, the only thing worse than that is when you go to check out and they slam a bunch of fees on top of you. So with their all-in pricing, you know exactly what you're going to pay when you go to check out. There's no surprises. You can buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps, and they're obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets with flash deals. They have sponsored events, a bunch of great stuff going on. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. Barclay Goodrow. So a lot of Rangers fans right now, they want to get rid of Barclay Goodrow, right? They're a team right now that is looking to win a Stanley Cup. They're very much in a win now mode. And Barclay Goodrow is an expensive piece playing fourth line minutes for them, right? So Barclay Goodrow right now, he is their 5th highest paid forward on their roster at the moment. Actually, their 5th highest paid forward on the roster right now. That he has after the season, he has 3 years left at $3.641667 million. He does have a 15-team no trade clause, so yeah. Part of the issue is we don't know what teams he wants to be traded to. We don't know if the Sharks are on or off that list. Who knows, right? He is one of their 15,000 alternate captains. They have 4 alternate captains. So, but he's 31 years old. He's definitely overpaid for what his role is, especially as a guy who has 1 goal, 7 assists, 8 points this year in 58 games on the high-powered Rangers team. And a lot of Rangers fans are looking at him as a potential either buyout candidate this summer, or do you pay a team to take him off your hands? I think the Sharks should be that team that you pay to take him off your hands. I know the first thing you're going to say is, can we get Gabe Perreault? No, you're not getting Gabe Perreault. Okay, like Sharks fans, we need to give up that dream. We're not going to reunite the Team USA line because, again, would you trade Will Smith? No. Why would the Rangers trade Gabe Perreault, who's looking to be like an awesome first-round pick for them? Again, would you trade Will Smith right now, Sharks fans? No. Why would the Rangers trade Gabe Perreault? So you could, though, get yourself another nice shiny pick this draft. So looking at the Rangers, right? And I know the cap hit this year isn't that, or in the upcoming years isn't too bad, right? It's $3.6 million for the next couple seasons, but it's 3 seasons long after this year. So I would be very interested to see if you can get a first-round pick. I think you would be able to get a first-round pick from the Rangers, whether it's this year or next year's first-round pick. They do have first-round picks. They do have a first-round pick for the next 3 seasons. They have their second-round pick this year, but then the Rangers will get a little dicey there. Like they don't have a third this year. They don't have a second next year. They don't have a third next year. They don't have a second 2 years from now. For a team that is in a win now mode, I wouldn't be surprised if they'd be willing to offer this year's first-round pick because there isn't a lot of first-round pick talent out there. The trade deadline, like there's no Timo Myers. There's none of those guys who are worthy of a first-round pick, I think, that are available this year. So it's a very kind of meat and potatoes trade deadline, right? And I think that's why it's been so slow. We haven't really seen much action because I think most teams are just kind of waiting to see. They're kind of coupon shopping, right? Let me wait till the last minute, see if guys are kind of maybe willing to lower their prices or kind of just see what's available. If I don't get Anthony Duclair, I can get this guy. If I don't get this, like there's just plenty of kind of interchangeable pieces. Like there's not that one big prize, right? We saw Tanev finally get traded, but it's like he went for a second-round pick, right? There's not a lot of these guys like that guy. So you could be looking at, a first-round pick because of how long the contract is. Again, it's $3.6 million. We'll just kind of say $3.7 million for the next couple seasons. But you got to give up 3 years, the next 3 years of it. So that's why you look at like the Patrick Marleau when he got salary dumped, right? It was $7 million, $6 or $7 million for 1 season. Then he was quickly bought out. So it's kind of a 2-year cap hit on the Hurricanes when they did that. But that was worth a first-round pick. I think because of how long this is, 3 years, he's going to be on your books from now to 26, 27. It is definitely worth a first-round pick. And I already can say, like, here, Sharks fans going, well, what is that going to do to our cap? Like, the Sharks have like a ton of cap space clearing up, right? Going into next year, so here are the forwards who are going to be on your roster for sure. Most likely, probably. So you have Granlund, who may or may not, because of who knows what happens this summer. He could either be traded this offseason. He could either be traded. He's going to be a hot league. If he's not traded this trade deadline, he's going to be a big topic about being traded during the summer, especially when teams' caps open up, et cetera, et cetera. Nico Sturm, Fabian Zetterlund, William Eklund, Giovanni Smith, and then you have Logan Couture and Tomas Hertl, who, again, but those are the guys you have under contract going into next season. The Sharks are expected to have $37 million in cap space with a roster size of 10. Like, you're going to have to sign players, right? And just a quick peek at, I don't think the Sharks are going to be big name hunting next year. Like Sam Reinhart's going to be kind of the belle of the ball, especially after scoring 40 goals this season. You have like Matt Duchene, who's 34. You have Jake Gensel, depending on what happens with him at the trade deadline. Steven Stamkos, who, the Sharks have pined over Stamkos for a long time, but again, he's 34. We could bring Joe Pavelski home. There's a ton. There is some guys out there, but like none of those guys kind of fit into the Sharks mold. And yes, you're spending $3.6 million on a bottom 6 guy, but who cares? Like, for the next couple seasons, you're going to be a lot of ELC contracts, right? You actually might have to worry about the cap floor here a little bit, but you're going to have guys like, you don't have any big names you have to resign. Like, if you resign Kaapo Kahkonen, but like, okay, maybe he gets like a raise to like $4 million or something, and even that, like, that might be a little pricey, especially because he's had one good year, right? But again, like, Kevin LeBank's not going to be back. Mike Hoffman's not going to be back. Anthony Duclair's not going to be back. Maybe Barrett Banov's back. Justin Bailey, Ryan Carpenter, if you want to bring those guys back, they're vetman type guys. And then even all the like young guys, like Thruin, Hochuk, Emberson, like these guys are like kind of small dollar contracts. And, you're maybe looking at like $1 million, $1.5 million for like 2 years type of like small contracts here. You're going to have to spend a little bit of money somewhere. And if I'm going to have to spend a little bit of money somewhere, getting a first round pick back to do that is not the worst thing in the world. And again, Barclay Goodrow can sit around and he can play. He's a good guy in the locker room, right? He can play bottom 6 minutes. He's going to be good on the penalty kill, all that stuff. You know exactly what Barclay Goodrow is. And then if he gets close to the contract, you can buy him out when your cap gets a little bit better, or you can just kind of continue to eat the money, because guess what? By the time his contract expires, that's when you have to start kind of paying guys, right? You're going to have to pay Eklund. You're gonna have to pay Will Smith by then. That's by the time his contract expires, that's when you're kind of entering your window of contention, So, and even by that time, if you need to, like, there's ways you can figure something out, right? When it comes 3 years from now, again. That's kind of, I know that's kind of the window for the Sharks, is that kind of 26, 27 season, but you can figure something out by then. You can trade them. You can try to bury them in the minors. You can do whatever, by then. By then you'll have 2 of your retention slots opened up, right? And then you'll still have a little bit of the Martin Jones buyout his contract, but like, your cap will be kind of cleaned up by then. Vlasic will be off the books. Like that. even the Logan Couture contract will be off the books by the time the Barclay Goodrow contract is like. So if I'm the Sharks fans, if you can get a first round pick back for Barclay Goodrow, and then maybe you have to send back a contract or whatever, fine, whatever. Like getting that first round pick, especially in this year's draft, where there's like going to be, you're going to want as many kind of dart throws. You know, you're talking to our scouting friends, you're going as many dart throws as you possibly can, especially, you know, and that just gives you flexibility. Then you could maybe, if you want to trade back up in the top 10, you'd have the Pittsburgh pick, you'd have the Rangers pick, which is probably going to be very much going to be back at the end of the first round. You're going to have your own second round pick. You're going to have the Devils pick. That's going to be 5 picks in the top 50. Gives you flexibility. If you want to go up and get 2 top 10 picks, you have the ammunition to go do that. Or if you want to trade one of those guys for maybe a young star who's just not quite happy in his situation, you have 3 first round picks. You can go do that. Just gives you ammunition to go do more things. And yes, you're going to have to eat the poop a little bit for the next couple seasons, but I am more than you're going to have to spend money this offseason at some point to just fill out your roster. And if I'm going to have to spend some money, I might as well get a first round pick out of it as well. So we'll be back Saturday evening at some point to talk about the Dallas game. And then, of course, we'll be back Sunday night, Monday morning for your recap of the Wild. Keep an eye out anything that happens trade deadline wise. So make sure you guys keeping it locked in here at Locked On Sharks, wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. We're closing on 2,500 subscriptions on YouTube. So that would be really cool if we could do that here soon. Also, check out on my Twitter if you want to support me going to the NHL draft this year. There's a way that you can do that. So go check that out on my Twitter. That's at my fry hole. You can also follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Until Saturday night, bye, friends.